Palestine must be.
There you go. Sticker. Sticker.
Raising money and funds, so please do support those as well. I'm going to call now a brother who's a local resident, a local restaurant owner, but from Palestine. He has family in Gaza. His name's Usman Khashu, and we want to give a warm welcome to our brother from the ends, literally from Gaza, and his family. As you know, everyone who has family in Gaza have seen their families being killed, entire families wiped out. And this is a terrible situation we see. Just us watching the news, it breaks our hearts.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, 1 hour ago, I've received an urgent appeal from my cousin and journalist. He told me, you might not hear me again. And after that, they cut all communication. Brothers and sisters, the only line of communication is with Allah. Please, pray. This is going to be a very decisive night. Israel, the murderers with the West, are thinking they're going to defeat our will. That will never happen. But I want you all to contribute to this victory that we see. Our blood in Palestine has been donated so that the Ummah can be alive. Just get the message. Give it to your children.
Are trying to silence the Palestinian voice when they said the flags shouldn't be raised, when river to the sea shouldn't be chanted. We are the ones that are calling for the law to be upheld. That we agree with Suella Braverman that someone breaking the law is a criminal. We ask you, who is breaking international law? Who is breaking international law? Israel! So Israel breaking international law. They are the criminals, yet our lawmakers choose to stand with the criminals rather than the ones who are calling for law to be upheld. We are calling for the law to be upheld. We are the law-abiding ones. It's the criminals in suits at the top that are breaking the law. So we have to make sure, don't be ashamed of your solidarity, because we are the truth, the haqq, and the legal right is on our side. Bismillah, I'll call now our sister Arifa Naseem. She's a former UN youth delegate and a human rights activist. Bismillah.
Robert Fisk, a war journalist, years ago said, after the Allied victory of 1918, at the end of my father's war, the victors divided up the lands of their former enemies. In the space of just 17 months, they created the borders of Northern Ireland, Yugoslavia, and most of the Middle East. And I have spent my entire career in Belfast and Sarajevo, from Beirut to Baghdad, watching the people within those borders burn. My friend Yara is Palestinian. Her family in Gaza live in one of those borders. Today, she told me that 17 members of her family were murdered in a single Israeli strike. This is what she said yesterday. Over drinks, people are talking. Surrounded by Brits, Germans, and Europeans, I'm sat in the middle and I hear them talk of genocide. They don't even recognize that the chain around my neck is of Palestine. They talk and they wonder about how their governments are complicit. They're apologetic. They're sad. And this isn't fake empathy. This is genuine. I have not seen this before. Then they ask me how things are with my family, remembering that they live in the Middle East. I tell them I have family in Gaza, and I watch their faces sink. They look at me not with pity, but with an awe of respect. I tell them stories from the ground in Gaza from my family, and they say, "How are you still sitting here carrying on with a straight face?" I say, "At least they're killing entire families. Imagine if the 6-year-old was left alone." The conversation shifts. They ask what I'm doing for my birthday this weekend, and I tell them one way or another, I am making it to the protest, to a protest. They ask more. They ask if it's true that the protests are getting violent. Note, they're finally questioning the media narrative. Finally. I say, well, at protests, we chant for a free Palestine. And I know that there are some people who are threatened by that prospect. And I invite those people to dig a little deeper. Why are they threatened by a population calling for freedom? Supremacy, they ask me, ironically. The German turns around and tells me, I am ashamed that my country is using the excuse of our past to justify outlawing any criticism of Israel, or worse, any sentiment that is pro-Palestinian.
And this country's actions. And I want everyone to repeat, shame on you. So when I say this now, we're talking about, I'm going to say the words, we're going to say it twice, repeat it twice. So Netanyahu,
Shame on you!
Netanyahu,
Shame on you!
Israeli war crimes,
Shame on you!
Israeli war crimes,
Shame on you!
ethnic cleansing,
Shame on you!
ethnic cleansing,
Shame on you!
open genocide,
Shame on you!
open genocide,
Shame on you!
using white phosphorus,
Shame on you!
using white phosphorus,
Shame on you!
killing children,
Shame on you!
killing children,
Shame on you!
Rishi Sunak,
Shame on you!
Rishi Sunak,
Shame on you!
Keir Starmer,
Shame on you!
Keir Starmer.
Shame on you!
Alhamdulillah. This is to warm us up. We remember each time we have to, one thing we need to do also is equip ourselves with the right knowledge, with the knowledge of history and how things came about.
Everyone. He knows the name of every child. He sees the drop of every child.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين
My name is Irfan Akhtar and I'm part of Waltham Forest Council of Mosques. Waltham Forest Council of Mosques is a local initiative collecting of 10 mosques in the borough that work together on local issues. So today's event is literally to gather that strength of feeling that people have about the oppressed people of Palestine. And the reason why it's local, because we want to show and make it known our solidarity is with the oppressed and never with the oppressors. And these types of events put pressure on our lawmakers, our politicians, our councillors in the right way to call for a ceasefire, which is the right thing to do to save lives. And there's a humanitarian crisis out there, so everyone feels desperate about what's going on in Palestine. And the war against these oppressed people, which is a brutal occupation, is unforgivable. And so everyone feels this, and so we're giving this as an outlet for people then to come, show solidarity, and obviously do their part, inshallah, to help save lives. Inshallah, the achievement is we do our bit, and the results are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We always have that. It's not us to dictate the result. But by coming together, it showed in short notice. We organised this in a day's notice, and you saw there was hundreds of people there. Alhamdulillah. So it shows how serious this matter is to the hearts of people, Muslims and non-Muslims. And so this is not a Muslim issue, this is a wider issue, an issue of humanitarian disaster, an issue of the oppressed and the oppressor. And we are not scared to stand against the oppressor and stand with the Palestinians, the oppressed. But we have leaders, shameless, spineless leaders, who want to stand, whether for whatever reason, with the ones who are breaking international law. So we want to hold them accountable, and inshallah these types of events will help people galvanize and actually hold them accountable. So hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, we'll get the results in terms of saving lives as soon as possible. One message to the government, in particular, their pathetic attempt at trying to stop the voices of Palestine with the flags or with chants that say Free Palestine. We have to remember, we, the public, and tomorrow there'll be 100,000 people, more than that, on the streets of London. We are calling for law to be upheld. We're not breaking the law. The ones who are breaking the law are Israel. And our leaders shamelessly are standing with those who break the law, when they should be standing with us who are upholding the law and demanding law be upheld. So inshallah, for that reason, everyone should recognize which side of history they stand on.